Hello, I'm Natasha Hussain, and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Polls have opened in India for the world's largest ever general election. It's one of India's most consequential elections in decades, seen as a test of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's political dominance. Modi is tipped to win a rare consecutive third term. His party, the right-wing BJP, hopes to increase its parliamentary majority and expand the Hindu nationalist policies established during its 10-year rule. Almost 8 billion people are eligible to vote. That's 12% of the world's population, more than that of North America and the European Union combined. Indians will be voting for 543 lawmakers in the 545-seat powerful lower house of parliament called the Lok Sabha. The 2 remaining seats will be nominated by the president. The party that wins the majority will appoint one of its winning candidates as PM and form a government. Most polls predict a win for Modi and the BJP, who are up against a broad opposition alliance called India. The election is one of the world's most expensive, expected to cost $15 billion, double what was spent in the last vote in 2019 and more than what was spent in the U.S. presidential election in 2020. The mammoth exercise in democracy will span 6 weeks, 44 days to be precise. It'll take this long due to India's colossal geography and population. It takes an astonishing level of logistics to ensure every registered voter can cast their ballot at more than 1 million polling stations nationwide in 543 constituencies, 28 states, and 8 union territories. That's why the election takes place in 7 phases up until June 1st. Some states only have a day to vote, while more populous ones like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and West Bengal, with a combined population of 500 million, will span 7 days. Results are expected on June 4th, just 3 days after the polls close nationwide. While analysts predict a landslide win for the BJP, Modi and the party have still been working hard to court voters, particularly Gen Z, with promises to tackle job shortages and inflation. More than 18 million Indians will be first-time voters, and they're determined to make their voices count. Smita reports from New Delhi.
Chunav ka Parv, or the festival of elections, and Desh ka Garv, or the pride of the nation. These are popular hashtags that are trending across social media as India kicks off the first phase of voting to elect its 18th parliament. Now remember, India is not just the most populated country in the world, it's also very young. 65% of the population is actually below the age of 35. The top polling body is asking one and all to go out there and become the election ambassadors and post their pictures on social media after they have voted. And who better to appeal to the young than celebrities and influencers, including the likes of the legendary cricketer Sachin Tendulkar, who put out a video on X with this appeal.
Chunav ka Parv, Desh ka Garv.
Well, memes using dialogues from blockbuster films of superstar Shah Rukh Khan are also doing the rounds. They are being promoted by the Election Commission of India, and millennials definitely are lapping them up.
कहाँ से जानूं? Contesting candidates की details.
Ironically though, the campaign and the enthusiasm on the ground do seem low-key and lackluster so far. But social media is buzzing with narratives of the left, right, extreme ideologies as well.
Modi ki guarantee.
Prominent bloggers like Dhruv Rathi are putting out critical videos raising serious questions about the future of Indian democracy and the country as well.
इतनी बेशर्मी से इतना बड़ा झूठ सिर्फ वही.
Online conversations are always fun and welcome as long as people really step out of their homes despite the heat, despite other challenges, to go and exercise their electoral franchise, because this opportunity to elect one's government at the center and the new Prime Minister comes only once in 5 years.
This week, Google made headlines by firing 28 employees who participated in protests at 2 of its U.S. offices. 9 of them were arrested. But what sparked the sit-in protests at Google's offices in New York and California?
Google, Google, you can't hide!
We charge you with genocide!
We charge you with genocide!
The Google staff were protesting against the tech firm's cloud computing contract with Israel. Project Nimbus is a $1.2 billion contract in which Google Cloud and Amazon Web Services provide cloud computing and artificial intelligence services to the Israeli government and military. Critics within Google fear that its technology is being used against Palestinians in Gaza.
I'm sitting in today, and along with other Google workers who are taking action against genocide, I refuse to leave this building until this corporation drops Project Nimbus.
Google and Amazon's $1.2 billion contract with the Israeli government and military.
By having this contract directly with the IDF, Google is aiding in the genocide of the Palestinian people.
Our leaders will not stop. They will barrel forward recklessly no matter the human cost, so long as it turns a profit.
And I refuse for business to continue as usual.
We have the power to direct how our labor is used and to ensure it does not contribute to apartheid and genocide.
In response, Google's head of global security, Chris Rakow, emailed a memo to all staff condemning the 10-hour-long sit-in, saying it violated multiple company policies and that such conduct would not be tolerated. The No Tech for Apartheid group, the driving force behind the protests, fired back, calling Google's firings a flagrant act of retaliation. Now, our next story, we take a stroll on a famous Manhattan street, but the air is not as sweet as we've been led to believe. The beloved children's show Sesame Street is in the spotlight as its writers have unanimously voted to strike. Picketing is set to begin outside the Sesame Workshop offices in New York as early as next week. Negotiations between the Writers Guild of America and Sesame Street's management have been ongoing since February, but unfortunately they've hit a roadblock. The writers are advocating for industry standard annual raises, improvements to residuals, and union coverage for Sesame Workshop's popular animation and social media segments. Netflix's profits have soared as the streaming giant added 9.3 million new subscribers in the first quarter of the year. That puts its total subscriber base at 270 million. But Netflix says it'll stop reporting those figures from next year as they're just one component of its growth. Instead, it wants investors to focus on its profits and revenue. And indeed, its profits from January to March are something to shout about, jumping 79% to $2.3 billion from January to March, well above analysts' expectations. While revenue rose by almost 15% year-on-year to $9.4 billion, as streaming rivals like Disney and Warner Brothers scramble to play catch-up and turn a profit. Some analysts say Netflix's unexpected decision to stop reporting subscriber numbers is a sign that the platform's era of customer growth could be over. The company expects subscriber growth in the second quarter to be lower, with the addition of a cheaper advertising tier and its password-sharing crackdown. But one area that Netflix stays consistent in is its constant flow of original content, which analysts say gives it an edge in customer retention over its rivals. Remember Clubhouse? The pandemic's viral invite-only audio app may have fallen into obscurity now, but some VCs in Silicon Valley are still trying to make audio a thing. Airchat is the latest network to try out, but only if you can get an invite. Sari looks into whether Airchat can make audio-first social networking something more than a one-hit wonder.
Finally a platform where emojis are replaced with emotions.
Airchat has entered the chat. Well, not for the first time, but the one-year-old app's relaunch seems to have granted it a moment of reality in the past week. Think of it as old Twitter meets Clubhouse. Instead of typing down your thoughts, you say them. A little AI tool transcribes it, perfects your speech by cleaning out filler words, and puts it out there. Airchat was built by former Tinder executive Brian Norgard, who was later joined by AngelList founder Nawal Ravikant. While it was initially planned to be a peer-to-peer messaging app, the latter's involvement shaped the app into what it is today. Hence the relaunch.
Social media isn't social, it's performative. Where's the chit-chat, the banter, the easy laughter? We made something new. Push to talk whenever you want, with perfect transcripts and AI art. A dinner party in your pocket.
Nawal's been described as the closest thing Silicon Valley has to a modern-day philosopher. He uploads his speeches on his socials and appears on Joe Rogan's podcast. He seems to be popping up in almost every conversation on Airchat, and only gives out interviews on the app. He's exactly the type of prolific user Airchat wants on its platform. Since the app is invitation only for now, the users, and by extension the conversations on the app, come from a specific place: Silicon Valley tech circles, which can feel a bit like an echo chamber. Despite falling over 150 spots on Apple's trending apps list, Airchat is still buzzing. But the app skeptics aren't worried about its success. They're focused on Airchat's data practices and its reliance on AI. When Nawal was asked how Airchat intends to use the voice data, he said the app has no intention of training an AI model with users' voices. He later added that it could be used for a model that makes speeches better and clearer, while protecting users' anonymity. He sounds reassuring, but the terms and conditions of Airchat are not. By using Airchat, you give the company
a non-exclusive worldwide royalty-free, perpetual, revocable, fully sub-licensable license to use, reproduce, archive, edit, translate, create, or works of.
Those broad terms give Airchat a lot of latitude of what it can do with your data. When Bloomberg's Dave Lee voiced these concerns, Nawal admitted that the fine print was written by a combination of lawyers and, shockingly, ChatGPT. While he reassured users by promising Airchat is not in the business of cloning one's voice, and those terms will be updated, he also called those looking into the details paranoid and urged them to not use the app. An unexpected and uninviting approach from an app fresh in the game, which needs users to survive.
With Mercury still in retrograde, supposedly inducing forgetfulness, we're here with the 8th annual Uber Lost and Found Index. It's a peek into the most surprising and popular items left behind in Uber vehicles. In the past year, it seems passengers were leaving behind the essentials: clothing, luggage, cell phones, and wallets. But wait, there's more. Uber riders also managed to leave behind some Uber weird items. The list is long, but we'll give you a taste. Imagine forgetting your frontal hair toupee, a bottle of hot sauce paired with a breathalyzer no less, a leaf that someone really wanted back, containers with spiders, yikes, surgical implants, a pet turtle, and even a panic button. This year, we noticed a few new trends in forgetfulness. Miami takes the crown as the most forgetful city. The color red was the most commonly lost. 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. were prime times for losing things, and January 21st was officially the most forgetful day in the U.S. Curious for more? Head over to Uber's website for the full list of quirky and forgotten items. And that's our show. Don't forget to find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.